Hello, welcome to Business Talks. I'm your host, Ruth, and today we have Sid. Hi, Sid.
Hi Ruth, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Great.
Good, good, good. Okay, so Sid, you are involved in largely in startups and incubators. Can you give us some information about that? As we know that you have an award-winning mobile platform. Can you just give us information about what you do and what your platform does?
Sure. So my company name is Graffer's ID. Graphers means people who are extremely good at what they do, really artistic. And ID is like a common platform for their identity. And Graffer's ID is basically an award-winning website and mobile application development company. So we build websites and mobile apps for different startups. Our major forte has been in building applications and websites for these startups, which have now raised fundings and incubations based on the products built by us.
Okay. So yeah, like you mentioned, your award-winning agency. Can you tell us how you delivered these award-winning website and mobiles and who's the clients?
Sure. So we have worked with multiple startups over the course of the year, based into different locations. We will majorly work from US, UK, Australia, and Singapore. These are the four days where most of our applications have been deployed so far. Our clients are now incubated by ventures like Y Combinator, Google, Coca-Cola, MIT Labs, and so on and so forth. Some of the major investments that our clients have received is close to $500 million, and we are still to touch the $1 billion mark. And we hope our clients will touch that soon.
I'm sure you will. Okay. And where are your operations based? Are they based mostly in India, the UK? Are you all different areas?
So our complete tech team is based out of India. We all the development happens in India, designing and the development. But our sales agents are across Australia and UK and America.
Okay, okay. So let's talk about Grapher's ID expertise. So you have like travel, e-com, messaging, chatbots, and more. Can you just go into a little bit more details on that?
Sure. So we, when somebody asks us for our major services, of course, being in the service industry, we built all kind of products. But the ones that we have really deep insights is from the logistics, restaurant discovery, e-commerce, marketplaces, booking applications like maybe appointment bookings or event bookings or movie theater
Mhm.
seats, those kind of booking platforms. Travel industry where you can book your packages, you can have a custom fields like booking.com and other applications or Airbnb. And we also work into healthcare, hospital management, dashboards, ERP systems. So these have been our major forte.
Okay. Um, and as many of our listeners are startups, how does Gaffer's ID help empower the startups you work with?
So this is where the major reason of starting the Gaffers IDs lies behind the value that we want to provide to the startups. So when I
Mhm.
was working into multiple companies, I was working with Accenture and then I worked with multiple other companies. I got an offer from Google to move to US, but I somehow felt like there's a significant gap between what startups really need versus what they are getting, right?
Okay.
Even today, when you see in the world, the startup success rate is somewhere close to 10% and even below that in most of the other countries. Now, why is that? That's pretty astonishing, right? It's pretty
Mhm.
surprising, rather, uh, that 8 out of 10 startups fail. They do not really make it to the level where they should, right? And why are so many people going wrong? There must be something common. There must be some kind of a pattern while these companies are failing. And that is what I realized, that most of these companies are making similar mistakes and they lack mentorship and guidance. So when we worked with different companies and different clients and then they got incubated into ventures like Y Combinator and Coca-Cola, they brought a lot of value back to us. So since we built the product for us and we were their tech partners, uh, when they got funding, they had more development requirements. They wanted to optimize their operations. And when they came back with the knowledge that they gained from the incubators, that really helped us understand what was going wrong and how should a company or a tech product should really be focusing at. How do you meet your customers? How do you understand their uh, behavior, user behavior is where we got more and more learning. And every time a next startup comes to us, we cater this module, we cater this knowledge that we have, and we customize it in the format which is more suitable to our next client. So in a way, we become like a, we do a lot of brainstorming before we finalize any product.
Mhm.
So our companies, the products that we have built, 80% of the products have been funded or incubated so far. And we take extreme pride in that. And that
Yeah.
is also the reason for which we have received the awards in different countries.
Right. Oh,
So with this approach, whenever somebody comes to us, we first analyze, is the founder ready for making it big? Is the product ready? A lot of times the products or the thought process is not clear. So we
true.
first brainstorm on the challenges, we
Mhm.
find the gaps, we do the suggestions and the, you know, countering those particular challenges, and then we build the track products.
Oh, you see, so when you have certain startups that come to you and they were like, we need this product building or this service, you actually have a full team that picks and goes through everything to make sure nothing's missed out and everything is in order before everything is released. I,
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what they say, finding your niche is very tailored, and like you said, most companies have when they have systems and stuff or have someone working on something, it's very uh, already done. So, like
Yeah.
you said, it's not really tailored. So, like you're saying, you're going to miss some stuff out, but whereas your team seems to be fitting in all those gaps and getting in everywhere, that's really, I mean, that's a huge selling point as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
if,
So most of the company, like, the basic problem with the service industry is
Mhm.
that when they receive some idea or when they receive a client, they are more focused towards closing a deal and
True.
towards just understanding what the client is saying. They never question back.
Hmm.
The ability to ask the why and the ability to understand the why, both of these things are extremely important for building the right product. If so, a lot of time what happens when you are trying to convey a message to me, it I might receive it in a different format. I might it might be what you are trying to say becomes something else in my head. So
Yeah.
unless both of those things match, and if I'm in a rush to close the product project and I do not ask you the right questions,
Hmm.
it might leave a lot of gap out, in which case what will happen is we'll invest 2 to 3 months in building a certain product, and at the end of it there will be a lot of mismatch of the expectations,
Yes.
what you wanted as a product versus what we built, and then for me I am right and for you you are right, and then there's a conflict. So
Yes.
the amount, the money is wasted, the time is wasted, and more importantly, the hard work and the effort which you have put in your, your willpower that you're waiting. Every time a
Yeah.
founder comes, right, they have this. Let's just take my product out in the market and see
Yeah.
how it really works.
That's
And
it.
when that spirit is broken, there's nothing more costly than that.
Exactly. And like you're saying, people trying to rush timelines is a big problem in project management.
True.
I know lots of people get frustrated with that. And like you're saying, making sure that message is clear is obviously very important. But like you said, people are mostly concentrating on the deadlines. Let's just get this done and get it out. And then, like you said, like, oh no, we missed this, or we needed that, or you didn't understand this. So being very clear like that and precise. It's good, like you said, making sure that it's clear, and what you guys are doing, making sure it's sorted and everything is done on time is really good. Because, like you said, having that time of just trying to push everything and mess it up at the end, and then having wasting time and effort. I mean, it's good. Do you have any advice for startups looking to develop a more web or mobile app?
Absolutely. So the one problem that I have seen a lot is, as a founders, not everyone is technical, right? A lot of time they're non-technical founders, or maybe they are first-time founders.
Mhm.
So what happens with these specific segment of founders is they take one particular scenario into the mind. So if let's say I wanted to build a website which is a marketplace, right? So I would think that okay, my customer is gonna come on my website. He's gonna search for some product. When he sees the product, he wants to see the details of the product and he wants to buy it. It's a simple flow,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what they really miss out on is the other part of the flow. What happens if the customer comes but he's not able to find the right product? How do you ensure that he finds the right product? If there is some product which is not appropriate for the audience who are coming to the portal, how do you fix that particular problem? What happens? How does the product after the order, what will happen? How will you create the inventory? So all of these segments are very important for running a business on day to day basis, and this is what a lot of founders miss out on, non technical, I mean like part of the technology which is not very clear to them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that is where they should really brainstorm. So they should probably make a chart, a flow chart, where they should write, they should create branches of every scenario that pops up in their mind, and they should consider both the elements of it, a positive side as well as the negative side,
Right.
and the create a flow for that. I think that is very crucial. And finding the right company. So your product should be, or your domain of the product should be very clear to the vendor that you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where a lot of companies make mistake. They just read the reviews, but they do not really understand who created that particular project. There might be some developer who's specific good at building something and he has left the company, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe the reviews are fake, and there are many other possibilities.
Okay. Yes.
So they should really verify these things.
Yeah. Good advice. The other question I have is, Sid, is when you're starting up yourself, when you started up yourself, how did you get funding and get grow the business so well? How did you do that in such a timeline that you had?
Wow, wow, takes me back in the memory lane. So it has been an interesting journey. So when I quit the US job and I came back to India and started thinking on how should I fill the market gap, I
Mhm.
never really thought that I wanted to make a company, or I really, come to this scale where I have a team of 50, 60 people and we are catering to very specific audience in a specific niche. How it really happened was I was sitting in a co-working space. I barely had the funds to manage 3 months of my co-working seat, and there were so I've been active in the support groups. I have founder groups of close to 500 people across the group. I'm the admin for that, so I have been a part of the discussions from the start.
Mhm.
There have been a lot of people who reach out to me on maybe LinkedIn or on these groups where they ask me certain kind of questions regarding the tech, and I
Oh,
used to help them for sometimes at free of cost for the founders who are not able to fund
mhm.
it or manage the funds, and
Yeah.
sometimes for the specific cost when the duration is longer for the discussion. And from there, some founder trusted me specifically more, and he wanted to get the product built by me. So I became a consultant and I started catering to his need. With time, the demand started growing. One person referred to another, another referred to another,
Oh, good.
and so my 3 months of funding for the co-working space turned out to be 6 months. Then
Yeah.
it turned out to be for an year. So I had got the buffer with me. So I thought, okay, let me take some risk and let me hire somebody
Mhm.
to cater this rather than getting it outsourced and getting it developed. Being rather than being a consultant, let
Mhm.
me manage the quality of the product myself. So I took that bet. I hired my first employee, and the product turned out to be good. So our 1 year of savings converted to 2 years of savings in one shot. And then I started hiring more and more of people. So for the first year, my team was only of 2 people,
Yes.
and by the end of second year, we were already 50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's huge
it
jump.
escalated. Yeah, and we still do not have any sales member in our team. Our
Mhm.
business completely works on referral basis.
Okay.
Yeah, so we build a product. So that is what I really aim at. So imagine the amount of money we spend in marketing and in sales
Yes.
versus if we save that money and we spend it more on building a good product and
Product.
making that particular client successful. So
Mhm.
it is a huge branding in turn for us. So when we say that we have built a product for a startup which is now funded by Y Combinator, it brings a huge value back to us.
Yes.
And we do not need to market or do any kinds of sales pitch.
Yes.
There is an automatic referral system built.
Yes. And I see that you have such some big names like Coca-Cola and stuff. Are you allowed to talk about what projects you did for them?
I cannot. So after these companies get funded, they are really not allowed to disclose any of the information.
But they can check out your website. They've got lots of
Absolutely.
information.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
So I've checked with the compliances, I've taken permission from the client, and that is the furthest I'm allowed to go.
Of course, I understand. And how are you finding managing such a big team? You know, are you doing that yourself? Do you have project managers that help you out on that, or how does that
So
work?
we do have a functional or a technical hierarchy, but we do not have any management hierarchies. So what
Hmm.
I mean by that is we do have managers, we do have quality checks, we do have assurances
Yes.
in between where there are developers and there are managers, senior developers. But in reality, everyone is their own manager. So we do not do any kind of micromanagement. So one of the core things in our hiring process is that we do not hire for uh, the skills they have. We hire for the quality the candidate has, and we believe in training the skills. So we have like a 4 month training session in our company. So when
Okay.
anyone joins, they have to first learn our style of coding, get that ownership value inbuilt within the developer, and only after that we allow them to take any real projects.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so whenever somebody is working on a product, for them it is like their own startup. For them, it is like their own business. So
yeah.
they really have to put their brains and heart into what they are building.
Mhm.
Without that, we cannot make a truly market fit product.
I mean, the way that you handle your employees sounds really good. Like you
More of
said.
they handle me.
But like you're saying, you're letting them free think.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's not do what I say and this has to be done. Like you said, you're making sure that they are qualified and know what they're doing. So, handling projects and stuff that you should be a little bit more relaxed because you know that these guys are pros at what they're doing.
Yeah, in a way, I'm more pressured also because these people keep, they're behind my ass, saying me, okay, you
Yeah.
have to do this, you have to get this done. This is how I need.
Yes,
So
yes.
one of the features that we have in our company is we have 5 days working,
Hmm.
but there is an optional sixth day for all the employees who wants to attend. And on this sixth day, they are not allowed to work on any project.
Okay.
Either they have to learn a new technology or they have to build a product of their own.
Oh,
This
wow.
is a compulsion in the company. And for any promotion that they need, they have to have a certification of 2 courses in the tenure and build one product of their own.
Oh.
So this ensures that they understand what a startup really means and is required to have a startup. At the same time, their technological skills are being updated constantly.
Mhm. Wow, that's great.
So
The other thing I want to ask is the startups. Is it Can small startups approach you because you have such big companies, obviously that you've worked with? Can smaller startups, so if they've got like maybe between 1 to 5, 10 to 20, and so on, can these startups also approach you if they have things that they need building?
absolutely. So we work with various groups of startups. So we
Hmm.
have worked for startups who are thinking an idea from the scratch
Hmm.
and to the startups who have raised $100 million funding. We
Wow.
have the tech stack to build both the capabilities. It really depends upon the requirement and what their niche is. We have built projects which are worth $5,000 to product which are worth $200,000. So yeah, the domain and the variations are big. We never ignore a startup because they are in a very early stage.
Yes, yes.
If they are ready to make a big product, we are always interested in what they are building. And the fact that we are based out of India really gives us the flexibility to be extremely cost effective, at
Hmm.
the same time produce the right results because of our processes.
Okay. Yes.
We
Um,
maintain the quality based on our skill set, and we maintain the cost based on our location.
okay. And if a startup is based, say, in the UK, and they want someone here, is that possible?
So
Are
the
you
tech
flexible?
team, so we have clients in UK, we have clients in multiple other places in the world, and if they want any kind of references and to talk to somebody from the same city or something, we try to see if the arrangements can be made, and we give them an option to talk to or take references from our existing clients.
Yeah.
But in terms of development, that's not possible. For the development,
So,
we have to have a team in India. So we provide remote developers. So
mhm,
what I mean by that is there are a lot of companies or startups after they have received funding or after they have had a small setup, they want to build their own team
yes.
and yet work with us. So in that case, we provide them with dedicated developers who sit in our office and
Mhm.
work with our clients remotely.
Yes, yes. I think that's the way the world is moving right now, anyway.
Remote, yeah,
Yeah,
remote working, absolutely.
yes,
And because of this COVID thing, this thing has taken really, it has really escalated the demand
yes.
for the remote developers. So either way, most of the developers are working from home.
Mhm.
So a lot of people choose our company for the skill set and for the value that we bring in terms of collaboration, mentorship, and knowledge sharing.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have some developers. So obviously you can build products and services for clients, but you also provide like programmers and stuff for people that just want something made but want it kept in-house.
Yeah, so that is what I'm saying. Like dedicated developers is
Mhm,
specifically that kind of model
mhm.
where you want to keep things to yourself. Like they want to have the management at their end, but
Yes,
they
yes.
only need a resource. They only need a developer. So in that case, we make the developer sit in our office and work dedicatedly for the client, who
Okay.
may be in US or who may be in London or in Stratford or someplace else.
So it's been great talking to you. Do you have anything you want to say to our listeners before we head off?
I really see the value in what you are trying to do and share, and it has really had me hooked for the past couple of episodes that I've seen. So thank you so much for having me and doing this great stuff.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Sid. You take care.